I was watching a video of yours and you was talking about symbols, and you said signs and symbols can be used to provoke a level of thought and feeling inside of our consciousness that may instinctually feel right. So this means that the level of manipulation that you're dealing with today is utilizing that symbolism in order to trigger us into believing certain things.
Yeah.
I want to talk to you about, and because of that cover of that book, it reminded me of what you said. The whole gay movement, LGBTQ, I believe is what the movement is what it's called. And when they utilize their symbol, the rainbow, or version of the rainbow that we see pretty much everywhere. I mean, if you go to Starbucks, if you go to retail stores, if you shop online, you see this symbol everywhere. And automatically, 10 years ago, if you seen a rainbow, you thought a rainbow. Now, if you see a rainbow, you think about the gay movement. And an example you used was the Maltese cross. And you said it was taken by the Maltese Templar to represent power, but its original meaning goes back to the ocean. So you basically said that symbolism is taken and formed and fashioned into the idealism of whatever that group of people want you to think. So would the gay community, would that them taking the symbol as a rainbow, would that be an example of what the Knights and Templar did with the Maltese cross, utilizes something that's instinctual with us to get them to get us to go along with their agenda?
It's bigger than that. It's bigger than that. What it is that you'll see it everywhere. It's this it's an instigation. It doesn't matter what it is. You'll find this in your mind. The moment you start trying to unify, you'll start having all of these thoughts of division. Things will start messing with you even. This is something that is almost like, it's a program. Okay, so it's like inside of the consciousness. It's a virus in itself. It's actually connected to the 7 deadly sins, because you don't witness really any of the 7 deadly sins in nature by the natural animals. Okay. So what happens here is that this virus in the mind, which is now being purported through media, is going to just show us anything that makes us feel uncomfortable one way or another. So if there's people who have problems with LGBTQ plus LPON, then it's triggering them to go into division. If there's people who have a problem with people jumping over the border from the other countries, then it's triggering them. If there's people who have a problem with Freemasonry, then it's triggering them. If there's people who love Jesus, then it's triggering them. So what happens is that there just becomes this huge cesspool. And this is just really what's happening when you're on the Airabot, like when you're actually seeing it from a Mandelbrot and you actually look at the whole thing and what it is, and you just realize the algorithm, not the details to the whole damn thing. You see how every single being is basically a piece in the division, because this is what happens in the division. Every single being is a piece of the other person, but broke. It's like a broken mirror. And in order for us to put it back together again, we have to see ourselves through everything. And I'm going to keep mentioning this. You're going to have to see that part of yourself, because it's interesting, because it may not be a lot. That's how the sky works. And that's how what would be the essence of the energies that come through work. It may not be a lot, but you'll be doing it in your own percentage of who you are on the planet, as far as when everybody is added together, that we make up all of these different modes of thought and all of these different colors and frequencies. So what I'm saying is, if you keep getting agitated and you keep having the thoughts of division, which literally break your mind, it's like you become hooked to it. You're only like looking for things to actually feed the division monster. And then from there, it's like you waste a beautiful mind, because it's like your gift, you're just wasting your gift, because it's like you get fused out and people are there. That's why it's like no power. And that's why it's important to study the energy of the body, like the breathing and how all that works, because you learn it in a whole different way. You even watch how your thoughts lower your energy. And you even feel the thoughts that raise the energy. You start seeing that, even we talked about today, like your nose. And if one side is clogged up and the other one's open, all these are regulators for what's going on in the cosmic system inside of your body. So if you're fighting outside, and that's why it also is not only shown, but it's a metaphor that who you really are is pointing in this direction on the back of your skull right there where your pineal and all that is. Maybe I just throw that picture up. It's a metaphor because it's literally saying like that's what ignorance is. You got, instead of looking within yourself, you're looking out there. So let's say, for instance, you're mad about something and you don't want it to happen anymore and it stops. What's going to happen next? Well, you're going to find something else to be mad about. If that's your habit, now you're doing what also our ancestors told us never let anybody do. Never let anybody steal our joy. Because that, to be honest, as the Stoics talk about, that's the only thing that you really have control over is how you're feeling in that moment. I've had times where I was laying on a bunk bed. First of all, I had times where I was laying in a mansion in a pool with jacuzzi and the whole thing was white early in the morning after a club with all of that and everything just being totally white, to actually being in a bunk bed with a sheet over the bed, looking also with a towel over my eyes, looking into the entire white. And I can tell you they look like the same thing. The only difference is in my consciousness, I felt that I was in different places, right? And so the truth here is, and I'm not sure if I'm still on this line here, but it may have went out. Okay, good. Okay, I can now pop back up. It kind of went out for a minute. But so basically the only thing is that how am I thinking? So I learned how to transform my mind and let my mind and my consciousness transform the reality that I'm in by consistently forcing a world that I was in control of, not a world that was in control of me. And slowly but surely, the external world started letting loose, and I was put through the proper paces by the higher self to actually be able to come into this awareness. But it is a step-by-step process. And to be honest, it's like you got to want it, because anytime you even go on journeys, when you're done, you don't say right away, man, let's go back on another journey. But when you go to the club and you're done, it's almost like, yeah, man, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go back, man. So there's an urgency to get to that. Likewise, working out, let's take it into something normal. Most cats don't like get super excited about having to go work out if they're just trying to stay in shape, right? But that's the stuff that builds you. The journeys build you. The meditations build you. That's how most people are at first about meditation. It's like, man, I don't want to meditate. This is like a chore to me. But then once you realize that you're not supposed to just be sitting there, that you can breathe a certain way, and it feels like you're high on this bliss, and this starts activating, you feel all sorts of stuff going on, then you start realizing, okay, there's a benefit to this. So that's what we're talking about here, is training ourselves with things that are going to benefit us, and removing, like a cancer, like a virus, removing the things that we can't not only do anything about, but we peep game. Because once you start seeing, it's just like, okay, so I see what it is. Anything that you're going to train me to be agitated by, you're just going to keep throwing it in front of me. And then I'm going to rage out because I can't control other people. So the power is, I need to control myself.
Ooh.